year and a half mysteriously comes across the desk last week, and I felt like I was in the twilight zone. So I don't know why. Why now? That's what I want to know is why now something that we've been asking for, something that we're legally allowed to
Yeah.
request.
It was really very simple, yeah.
I'm personally uncomfortable doing it right now, simply because I'm running this meeting because nobody else showed up. Okay?
You want to table?
You want to put that on the agenda for next month? To rediscuss it?
We can add anything to the agenda
Yeah.
when it comes up.
That would be my preference. So are you pulling your,
I'm pulling it back.
Okay, so motion, sorry.
okay, before we get to any public comments, anything else from council that we need to discuss tonight?
We can always, I'd ask this at the end after the public comment, because somebody might make a public comment and we need to say something. I said I would wait, make sure we have a chance to close in
Yeah.
case something's brought up in the public, from the admission, that we would need to answer or go back on to say.
Anyone from the public want to come to the podium and say anything?
As long as your name's signed up there on that piece of paper.
Yes, I would like to, actually.
We need to set the next meeting date as well.
Okay, before you do, okay, sorry.
No, you're back.
Go ahead.
All right, you guys know who I am, Mr. Oakwood. I was here to listen to you about the mayor and everything. I don't know all the details about that, but I'd just like to say, if there was more whatever, with the Oakwood project as you got with the mayor, we could probably get something done. I mean, it's been 11 years, Mr. Livingood's sitting here. We spoke 11 years ago about this project. You were on council at the time. And it seems like it just keeps getting dragged on and on and on. Now, my question is, how long do we have for that grant money before it runs out?
I can answer that question. 3 years from the time that it was, it was awarded.
And it was awarded today, the governor came here,
Right.
I believe that might be it.
and you're certain on that, 3 years?
3 years, that's on 3
So,
years.
am I looking, so what, about a year ago, about this time, something like that?
I don't know.
So, are we looking maybe this project to get done in 2 years from now, before this runs out, or Mr. Purcell?
This all needs to be addressed to the mayor. We're the council.
Okay, vice mayor, I mean, you're the vice mayor, right? So let's go to you, Mr. Guzman.
My opinion, and this is from the private sector, when you have bids that are outrageous, you keep bidding or you change the scope till you get it. I think everyone here in council wants to get Oakwood done, but we want to get it done for a reasonable amount of money. And I can tell you that the budget from Caliber Engineering and my own estimate included 20% profit, 20% contingency, and that was at the $120,000 figure. And we've got nearly 2x that right now. It's just outrageous, and I don't know why the bids are so out of line.
Can I ask a
can't-
question?
Is it the city wanting to get the set so low just for the grant can cover it? Because I do remember the governor was talking that day about, you know, whatever further costs would be after the grant money ran out, that the city was to pick it up.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
159,000 recently. I
unreasonable.
know there was a bid issue with some time frames, and
Yeah.
Mr. Martin over here brought that up. Now, or is that what we're shooting for? We want to get under the grant money so so the city don't have to put no money toward this project?
I
or-
think,
No,
my opinion is we need to get close to it.
159,000 was pretty close, right? I mean, can you get any closer than that?
We
We try to
should.
save a couple
We
$1,000s,
should.
but have all the aggravation on Oakwood with the water and all the problems that these people are having on Oakwood?
The meeting, sir, that you were at, when you and Ms. Wilson came here, do you remember the engineer said that that would not alleviate the water running down through people's yards down the hill?
Left side of the road.
Were you you were at that meeting, you heard?
I've been to a few of them,
It was the bid meeting, there was a pre-bid meeting.
I think we were
When we
basing it
saw-
off of 10-year, 20-year,
August-
50-year, 100-year storms, stuff
August
like that.
17th. And I turned around and asked him, will this alleviate the problem, your design? Will this be a fix? Will we, no disrespect, will the residents on Oakwood be happy? Will we ever hear anything about something that we need to do again? And he didn't want to answer for me. And then he turned around and, is there gonna be more work that needs to be done? Is this gonna fix the water issue? And he said it will fix the water issue coming down the street on a 10-year plan, but it will not do anything
10-year storm.
initially, a 10-year storm, but it will not do anything about the water running down to people's yards.
On the left
You're
side.
saying yard to yard.
Because it's an elevation issue.
Right.
He mentioned about excavating the entire road out and lowering the road to fix the issue altogether, but that would be probably 4 or 5 times the cost wise.
So are you basing this off of, you might do it, you might not do it because of someone else's yard drainage? I mean, because we
No,
still have
I just-
we still have a road that,
I just asked if you remember at that
yeah, I
meeting
remember, yeah.
that he
I
said
heard what he said, I heard
there's
what
still
everybody
gonna
said.
be, that's still gonna be water running down people's yards.
Yeah.
And then is that gonna be the city's?
Well, I'd like to think that water running down yards would eventually seep into the ground and maybe possibly go underneath the ground and run down the hill. I mean, I'm not a, that's not my profession, but I mean, I would think it would. I mean, just stopping some of the water from coming off the road alone, coming off people's driveways running into the road, coming down the road.
The road's the biggest issue. I mean, if you're out there when it's raining.
Man, it's been 11 years, man. I think it's time to,
It's mostly the road.
if you're getting rid of the mayor, that's up to you. I can't do nothing about that, but, just keep dragging this on and dragging this on. I mean, it's been a long time, guys, and a lot of you guys are running for city council again, right? So, I mean, if you're not doing nothing for the city now, what do you think your chances of being back on the council are? That's all I have to say about that.
We're
You
doing.
go ahead.
Excuse me?
You go ahead. Talk, I'll listen.
The 159, if that bid process had been on the level, the way it should have been, I think we would have jumped all over it. There was just too many questions at the first bid with having the date, the deadline extended 3 days, and then we had 3 different addendums put to it. The 159, that would have been great. I don't want to throw a number out there in case we do rebid it and somebody uses that as a base, but somewhere in between these two numbers is where it needs to come in. This 239 is,
It's ridiculous.
it's padding a pocket hard.
Can I say something or ask a question?
Stuff on up there.
Now, this amount of money that you're speaking of right now, does that fix the problem according to like the Kentucky transportation guidelines? I mean, what we need to do is we need to go in there, we need to fix that road, fix it correctly, excuse me, it's allergies. Take the grant money that we have, and thank God we've got it, no matter where it come from, that's money that our taxpayers don't have to pay, and not look back. Problem is solved. But what I'm wondering about, the bid being so high this time, is the scope of work. Sometimes I think people are scared because, number one, we've got so many issues here, and it's just scattered all over. I mean, it is, and it don't look good for none of us. Number one, and number two, they're getting down there and they're looking at things and they're talking with us, the contractors and whatnot's been down there, and we know the problems, we see them on a daily basis, especially him. He knows how every drop of water runs. So, are they looking back and saying, okay, we'd like to fix your problem, but we gotta have the money to fix it right the first time, because, we don't need to be going back, and not that I'm saying that we need to waste a dime of taxpayers' money, but there has to be a point to where I wanna see my tax money spent. I just don't want it sitting around in a CD looking pretty. I want to see it spent. I want to see my tax dollars at work. not just sitting in CDs. So it's my recommendation, to me personally, as a citizen of here in Crittenden, you know, I'd like to see that project started, that project completed, done right the first time. Then we don't have to go back, and then the city can move forward. Like I told him, I drive around the city all the time. I got a list as long as my leg of things that need to be done to make us look nice, to make people want to come here, to make people want to spend their money here. So we can develop, you know, homes and people and revenue, and so we can have money to do a lot of nice things. So I recommend, for the last time, that we figure out what needs to be done, do it, and do it right. Just like these homes. You know, I've got problems with the road, sure. But I got a brand new house sitting next to me, and her drain is coming right off the roof of her house, headed right straight to mine. Who allowed that? Who allows that around here? Mine's not like that. His isn't like that. But the 3 new houses that was put in, you know, so here I've put in a row of oak leaf hydrangeas, paid $35 a piece for them, and this water's coming along and destroying them. Who cares? It's my hard-earned money. So we got to get a grip. We got to figure out, you know, you just can't come in here and do anything you want. You can't come in here and build a house, and that house sitting next to me, that metal beam that they put in after they pour the foundation, they put it's crooked. I mean, I'm like, where is the person who is supposed to be inspecting all this? This is so wrong.
The city of Crittenden doesn't have a building inspector that inspects these homes being built?
County building inspector.
Well, there you go. It's ridiculous. So, you know, I walk over to my neighbor and I recommend that you do it correctly. They're not going to do it. There ain't nobody going to make them do it. So I have to pay for it. So all I'm saying is to take this serious. It's got to be taken seriously. You know, we've got people's homes that are being destroyed, coming right off the foundation. You're welcome to come to my home anytime. I'll show you what's going on at my house, which is not near as significant it is some of my neighbors. And I'm here representing them as well as myself. You know, our neighborhood is in the city limits. We are looking a lot better, but we've got a long way to go. And ordinances are the way to go. Getting this stuff done is the way to go, peacefully. So if you guys will work with us, we've been, you know, patient and very respectful of each and every one of you. I know some of you personally, some of you I don't. I'm just asking you to please get something done. Just please. That's all I can say. Thank you.
Thanks for your input. A couple of comments on that. From my perspective is, I think Caliber Engineering, the design they've done outside of the 3 addendums, at least with my experience, is very reasonable. Their estimate and my estimate, I think, were reasonable.
Do you want to share those estimates too? Because
Pardon?
I don't know if anybody's heard of your estimate.
I estimated that job at $120,000. They, and I've done this for 37 years.
Okay.
I was a global engineering manager for a very large chemical company. We did 1,100 projects, 250 million to 500 million a year, spread over 1,100 plants around the globe. I know how to do this.
Well, do you think they would have a recommendation of someone for you that could do the work?
My point is,
Vice Mayor.
to your point, the contractors didn't want to bid on this job, or we would have had competitive bids. We didn't. That's why I think we need to bid it again with contractors somewhat out of this area. The scope, though, is fixed. we've paid probably, initially it was 10,000, I think we've paid 20. About $12,000 to get a fixed scope, documents and drawings that define the elevations, that define the curves, that define the number of storm drains, the energy mitigation, and all that is a fixed design. The survey that was done, that's paid for, it's in that design. If we wanted to start over with something more robust, you're at least 6 months to a year away from a more robust design. This design is reasonable to catch the amount of rainwater that you get even during those 2 and 3 inch torrential rainfall. It's a reasonable design. Is it gonna fix all of the problems? No. Is it gonna fix the lion's share? Yeah, so from my perspective, and if I'm sitting back over there and voting again, I would vote that we would proceed and keep this thing active, but try to get it in at somewhere near that number. We've got 135 in the budget right now, knowing that there was gonna be some extras.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay, but that's reasonable. You've been in this business before. That's a reasonable number. The concrete, the steel, the macadam was put in, piping, it's all reasonable. We included 20% contingency, 20% profit in that budget. I mean, excuse me, in that original estimate a year ago.
And Joe, if we could clarify for everybody as well, that your estimate was 122 and Caliber's was not that much different.
No, it's been
It was,
about 5.5%.
yeah, so that is about what it should have been.
Well, do you think we could go out of the county, or excuse me, out of the state or out of the county and try to move forward and try to find someone that could do the work and that could, you know, be more reasonable?
That's my suggestion. I don't know what the other folks think.
It needs to be advertised more than just Drake County News. Just plain and simple.
I'm a little concerned too, though, to be honest with you all, as far as not having a lot of bidders. I think that people know of the problems here in Crittenden with the administration, and I think that's a put off to people as well, so.
Well,
We
they
need to-
don't
we need to
really
get
know
some-
what's going on.
Yeah, we need to get this stuff settled.
They're like, I don't wanna go there, you know, and I understand that.
Jim made, the perfect comment that we can't move forward until we get some of this stuff settled, so.
I
How
would
does
like
the
to
mayor,
ask-
getting rid of the mayor got anything to do with Oakwood, first of all? How does any of that got to do with Oakwood and the drainage problem?
In my personal opinion, I don't think it has anything to do with Oakwood. Does it have
I
any-
think they're two independent, totally different subjects.
I wanna
All I
know
hear is
if-
we gotta get this taken care of with the mayor before we can do anything else. Because the mayor is such a bad person. She's ruining everything in the city of Crittenden. The city of Crittenden's ruining the city of Crittenden.
Joe, is there any chance that we could, Joe and Sean, is there any chance that we could find out? Before you leave, I gotta ask you something. Is there any way we can find the people who originally bid on the job and somebody talk to them and ask them why they were interested and then why all of a sudden they pulled back? Is there any way that we could find that out? Why did you pull back? Why did you not wanna do it?
So the wording though, we only have one bid. So,
One?
Now, the 10 contractors, the caliber who picked those contractors, or do you know?
I don't know who picked it.
So maybe,
I think
maybe the
people
next step
put
is to, this is my opinion, now I'm only the clerk, right, so just heads up, a little bit of history of construction management. A, you're in extraordinary times today. Seriously, the market's on fire. Contractors are having hard times getting supplies. The supply shortages are left and right. Cost of materials are through the roof, right? But everyone's on fire. It's road construction is seasonal. You bid road construction, in my opinion, in the fall and the winter time to start in the spring. You get on their schedule. It's a hard time this year. I can't speak to how the contractors are feeling about this city and this situation that we're all in. But the same breath, I just know timing of road construction, you can't get asphalt after November. You can't get asphalt in this area after November. The plant's shut down. Barrett shuts down, all the guys shut down. So in pouring concrete, then we fall in the winter time and pain the rear. You can do it, but your costs are increased, your labor's increased. So I just think it's also timing's hard right now, I'll be honest with you. That's just my opinion. But yes, we can ask Caliber, the 10 bidders, the 10 contractors, they were asking to bid the job.
And ask them what happened.
Yeah, and I've never
The
seen.
the other thing we could do is ask the adjacent cities, meaning Williamstown, Dry Ridge, who is on your approved civil engineering bidders list? I don't even know if we have an approved.
Yeah, I was
bidders
gonna
list.
say, do we even have a bidders list?
I created one for the recycle project because it's who asked for
Yes.
bid materials, but I mean, we can do that, I mean, it's, we add the, so you want to know the original 10, right, or we're calling it 10, we're not sure. It was
Is there any way we
7,
could
12.
communicate with them to find out what happened, why?
Okay. And then ask about local areas. Okay. Reach out to local cities.
We could compare their approved bidders list to who we used the last time and go from there.
So can you take those bidders list and send out,
Send out the same package.
The packet
The s-
to
the
all
scope-
those people.
The scope should be fixed. You don't want to bid a flexible scope. That's a horrible thing to do.
Right.
Because there's no end to it. It's just like, give me more money.
right?
Yeah.
And if, so could we do that, like, we're already going into October, November, so could we bid that this winter and then
Yeah.
for the summer, next summer, and get it done?
I want this done more,
I want it done too.
I want
more,
it done.
almost more than the residents on Oakwood. Almost as
If
much
we
as
can get it done this year, I think we should push. I'm not saying take this 239, but let's put it on the front
We'll
burner
get
and
it
see
in
what we
a
can do.
reasonable number, I'm all for it.
Well, he just said there's no asphalt after November, so.
We're not November yet.
This is, yeah, I'm the clerk.
And the increase of the, adding the calcium to the concrete and the hot water and the insulation blankets.
Blankets and fire and heat, it's all.
I don't think there's any way we could get it done
I
this year. Bid it this way.
So our intent here is to continue with the project, get it bid for a reasonable amount, try to do it as quickly as we can.
Find
But
out,
knowing it's gonna take long.
talk to the people who were interested, in what scared them away. And Todd's right, no, you're right, both of you are right. You got a game plan, you don't change the rules halfway through, now we want this. And then now we want this. And now we want this. You can't do that.
Okay. Anything else, or anything else from the public? Mayor, do you have anything? No?
Our meeting,
Our meeting, next meeting date?
I have one comment, sorry to keep adding to the ball of fun. Last meeting, Mr. Roberts, you mentioned about having a budget for signage for the streets, that $1,000 per harvester's down.
Well,
That
it's
number's not,
it's
that's correct.
2933.
Exactly, so we were discussing a number last week that you thought you had a budget for, you had $3,000 minus $300, not including signage cost. Your budget increased by nearly 300%, so we should have a sidebar. You have more money to work with than you think you do.
So we got right now 5,
$2933 per
Yeah, I mean,
per
it's
projects. $2,933.
almost $9,000, not 3. So
so how much money you gonna get for doing this?
we need to talk, but I have some ideas for you. Just harvesters, for example, something very simple, inexpensive, but I think there's some things we can do. That'll save some money and make
And
things.
Michelle had some, she'll want to talk to you, she had somebody ask her.
Oh, okay.
About
I think-
some missing signs.
Yeah, I think there's some basic stuff we can do that will actually help the citizens quite a bit. I think this humps would be a great idea, honestly.
Correct.
Just a heads up.
Next meeting is
10/13 is the second Tuesday of October. 10/13.
10/13 at 7 p.m.
Move we adjourn until that time and date.
10/13, 7 p.m., second Tuesday of the month, from here on out.
Make a motion?
The second reading will be done in that meeting, but we're gonna call for it now. Okay, gotcha. Sorry, to make sure. Go ahead.
Do we need to vote on that?
We got a first and a second, so yes.
Okay.
No, sorry, Ms. Humphrey. Go ahead. Ms. Humphrey.
That's you.
Did you second?
Yes, I'll second.
Got it.
I thought you said somebody else already
We
seconded.
did. That's fine.
Okay.
Yes.
I apologize.
That's okay.
Mr. Duzen?
Thank you, yes.
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 Right.
Thank you for putting up with us.
Oh, no, we're good. I'm willing to, so, yeah, I appreciate
Okay, all right, we stand adjourned, thank you.
There is a law where people cannot pipe water.
I'm sorry, which
Anything else you need?
I don't think so, I think I need more air bags.
How much?
You know, it